False Gods was originally projected to not have much impact on the meta for Battle Spirit Saga, but now that it's been out for a while, we are happy to say that it has made a decent shakeup with a few of the cards entering the meta. Cards that we originally thought would do nothing have become meta staples, and other cards that we thought would be great have proven to be unimpressive. Now that we have more data and a better grasp on the impact, or lack thereof, of cards, we present to you the best and worst cards from False Gods. We are going to sort by color for this list and give you one from each card type, going from worst to best. Starting off with red, unfortunately not a lot of these cards change much of the lists coming from Dawn of History. Red probably got the short end of the stick when it comes to card quality or impact on the meta. Not that pterosaurs needed anything to make them better. With that being said, some of these cards are by and far worse than others. Flame Crystal is easily the worst of the Nexus presented in False Gods. It really does nothing out of the ordinary, and with the best red spirits already having Confront, using its level 2 ability to attack a spirit with a soul core on it doesn't do much to change the game plan. It doesn't give card advantage like Canyon or Scorched, nor does it give a blanket BP addition. It really just does nothing, and even Meteorite Impact Zone has a better place in the meta with its ability to draw cards during the attack step. Flame Crystal is just a hot mess of a Nexus. Where red did get some fun and exciting magic cards, Dragon Rush just isn't one of them. Not only do you have to play this card in the main step, then you have to make sure your Dragonoid spirits are able to destroy an opponent's spirit by battle in order to draw cards from it. This card requires you to combo for any sort of benefit, and there aren't a lot of good Dragonoid spirits that come with Confront as a base ability. In Battle Spirit Saga, most cards you play need to be able to go 1-for-1 on their own, and this card just doesn't do that. Its flash effect is decent at best, giving 3k BP to a spirit, but that just isn't worth running over the myriad of better magic options Red already has. Red has some bad spirits, like a lot of bad spirits in False Gods. And their Voidlord is no exception. Rage Dragon Emperor Ira is likely the worst and most unfortunate Voidlord. Its effect seems good at first glance, being able to wipe out 10 spirits with 4k or fewer BP. But it's going to destroy your own spirits as well as your opponent's. With the current meta very aggressive, you think this would be fine, but with its cost being so steep, there's no way to even get to it before an aggro player is going to end the game. And in slower games, most spirits will be above the 4k threshold for this ability to even do anything. Ira just doesn't cut it, and you're better off playing almost any other spirit instead. Where much of the red roster fails miserably, there are some diamonds in the rough. Where Great Desk Mountains was originally thought to be a nexus for Awakened decks that totally exist, I'm sure, it actually finds its home in Pterosaurs. With Pterosaurs so easily able to go wide with little to no core investment while maintaining high BP, the level 2 ability of Great Desk Mountains can be incredibly scary for the opponent. One of the hardest walls is still Axe Spider, and Great Desk just tells Axe Spider that it can't block. And if there are multiple of this Nexus on the field, you can slowly pick apart the opponent's field with precise confront targets while barring blocking from their pesky spirits that give you trouble. One thing that Red was short on was Nexus removal, so Bandai fixed that by printing Nexus Hazard. All jokes aside, this card is actually a great card. It may seem costly, but it can easily be reduced to 2 cores even without Pterosaur spirits helping the reduction further. Not only does it pop a small spirit and a Nexus, but it draws you a card as well when played during the main step. All in all, it's just a great card, and even if it doesn't see a lot of play now, it can easily get out of control, especially if more good Pterosaur spirits are released in the future. With Netherworld depths running rampant and almost every deck running 3 to 4 copies of it, the best red spirit is here to answer our cries for help. I'm of course talking about King Vulture.
Jacob, I swear, this is your last warning. That card's trash.
No. King Vulture was actually seen in topping lists at Grand Opens, at Pro Tours, for Set 2. It is actually ran. It's been seen in topping lists. What am I going to put here? Dragno King?
No, we're going to put Flame Weasel. What are you talking about?
That card's... What? Nobody runs
your last warning.
Okay, whatever. Purple got some interesting tools to work with in False Gods that have made some waves in the competitive scene. But also, there are some real stinkers in here. It's honestly a toss-up between Dreadrock Fortress and Monstrous Mausoleum for the worst purple Nexus. Neither of them really do anything that isn't already being done better by other cards. Not really much else to say here. Purple is not short on card draw effects, so a card like Crystal Crack is not only subpar, but just plain bad in its design. Self-mill was a thing we got excited about until we actually played it and realized how bad it is. Even Amethyst Radiance is a better draw option, and that card isn't being played at all in purple. Out of all the bad options for spirits to play in purple from False Gods, and there are a lot, Viperola probably takes the top spot as the worst. Removing a core from an opponent's Nexus just doesn't cut it. Yes, you can turn off a level 2 effect for the turn, but you could also just Burning Force that Nexus instead. This card has absolutely no place in any deck for any reason. I told someone in the unofficial BSS Discord that I would eat a shoe if Impaler Forest was a good Nexus. So here's a picture of the shoe that I ate. Unfortunately, the footage of this was lost, so you'll have to take my word for it. The level 2 effect is what we're focusing on. This card will get you back any spirit from your drop to play again and again. It's best being utilized in white-purple control to get back Cursed Dragon, Mammoth Aegis, Elephant, Enterprise, etc. Turns out that being able to loop any answer you need at any time is pretty busted, and it's a prime target for Burning Force. Which also means your opponent has to choose between this and Depths when they cast it. Do you have a Mordred in drop? Arcana Joker? War Angel Shin? Lamorak? Hunger Tree? Somehow an Axe Spider? Then Reanimate can get it back for you. This card isn't seeing a ton of play, but out of all the purple magics, this is easily the best one, and will only get better as more 5-cost and fewer spirits are available for it to return to the battlefield. No one is surprised when I say that Dark Knight Lamorak is the best purple spirit in False Gods. With the ability to remove a core from an opposing spirit on death, it can help control the field. And with the ability to loop any purple spirit back to hand at level 2, including itself, it creates loops that can net you a ton of advantage.
Lamorak sucks.
What are you talking about, Dave? Lamorak is the best purple spirit in False Gods.
It doesn't have much to contend with, but it still sucks.
What else do you want me to put here? What else do you want me to put in the best spirit other than Lamorak?
Avarisha. Whale.
No, we're not putting... No, this is actually good
Viperola,
stuff.
man. Have you seen that card?
That was the worst one.
Get out of here.
No, this is my video.
No, get
my video. My video.
Get out of here.
Hey everybody, David here. I got rid of him so we can get this done properly. Next up, I got some of the best cards in the set, the white cards. Given, they got some interesting and fun new cards in False Gods that work really well with both its aggressive and controlling builds. However, none of the Nexus are it. There will be no best Nexus for white because they are all garbage. Do not play these cards, they absolutely suck. Every white magic from False Gods is playable except for Iceberg. This card seems like it would be a great defense option, giving that much needed armor green, except it's a main step skill and will do nothing for you defensively. White aggro has better tools, and white control just won't ever need it. Mom says we have Axe Spider at home and then shows you Polar Ice Dragon Glacius. That's all. That's the review of this card. I could have gone with Superbia, but at least that card's used in some builds. Between the 3 good magic options for white, Infinity Shield definitely takes the cake. Have you ever heard somebody say 12 Ice Shield Axe Spider? This is why. It's just another 4 copies of suppression for mechas and machine beasts, and it turns out having 8 copies is really good. Would you like to have 9 life in white without using your 8 suppression? Then Merge Mech Lord Mammoth Aegis is the card for you. The only text that really matters on this card is place a core from the void into your life if you have less life than your opponent. This card also gives so much more sustainability to white control. You can now take more damage to ramp more cores, then heal it right back with Aegis, saving you from having to use an Ice Shield. You can also pair this card with Impaler Forest, and you get even more life, and you can just wait for your opponent to run out of resources before you can win with Elk or Durham Dyna. This card is by far one of the best cards printed in the entire set. I would even say it is the best card in the set. Yellow got some insane tools to use in False Gods, but unfortunately it still hasn't seen a lot of success yet. Ticking Floral Clock, however, is not one of them. The BP gain for level 1 spirits makes absolutely no difference, and its level 2 ability really needs to be during your own attack step to make any impact at all. Unfortunately, this is a do-nothing Nexus, and we really can't afford something like this. Magic Mirror seems like an awesome card on paper, but it has a glaring flaw in how the flash timing works. This card would be best utilized as a defensive option since the defender gets first flash step, but the opponent can just elect not to cast a spell, essentially wasting this card's effect. And on offense, your opponent can cast their spell first before you get to use this. Again, rendering it useless. Yellow has so many better magic options than this. Other landers get some really cool spirits, but Arcana Beast Queen just isn't one of them. It's angelic pressure with a body, yes, but where will you find the room for this card, ever? You won't. There are just better options, and with Luster being a thing, you can just get your pressures or exhaust nexuses back in hand without having to play this card. Harpy Nest Palace's level 2 ability gives yellow some good counterplay to Backless Dragon combo by adding cores back to the spirits you control. For only one extra core, it can easily shut down a core removal play. If you have multiple on board, then it can just stop core removal in its tracks. It becomes an instant Burning Force target, so you can keep Cathedral of Paradise on board and continue gaining advantage from those. It's hard to choose between Somersault and Lightning Arrow for the best card for yellow. Both have their merits as offensive options, but we're going to have to give the edge to Lightning Arrow for its ability as a defensive tool as well. Stopping the ability to attack or block for the turn can give you that extra turn you need to win, or shut down the opponent and end the game for yourself. It should come as no surprise when we say that Arcana Joker is the best yellow spirit from False Gods. It comes onto the field as an unblockable spirit and can trigger a Wind Summon ability of any of your other lander spirits when it attacks, including another Arcana Joker. This spirit ends games and is seen even in non-yellow aggro builds as a cheaper finisher than Derm Dyna. Green has shaken up the way decks are being built. There are so many more multicolored decks being seen in the meta as a direct result of the release of Green. Ramping cores, generating tokens, and exhausting spirits are all new ways to play the game, and there are new builds coming out like clockwork. Green has increased the level of deck building creativity to astounding levels. There are some extraordinary green cards helping shake things up, but at the same time, there are some cards in green that don't quite hit the mark. Airborne Craig may not necessarily be from the set, but it's close enough to being a False Gods card. Besides, all the other Nexuses have more utility than this one. Giving spirits summoned during either attack step seems okay, but really this only applies to spirits with Swift. And most, if not all of the Swift spirits have abysmal stats, and extra 2k isn't going to do much to help. And the level 2 ability only goes so far and can't be stacked since it requires a spirit with a soul core. Insect Aura is just bad. There are so many more things green magics can do that push the game state more in your favor than pumping one unit with power. Do not run this card. There are plenty of good ways to ramp cores in green, but Manticore is not one of them. In the current aggro meta, exhausting your own spirit on summon to ramp a core is just asking to be wiped out. Not to mention it has poor reduction and a horrible stat line. Play any other card that ramps cores and you'll be miles ahead of where you were than you would be playing Manticore. Most of the green Nexuses are playable and some are actually really good. The Giant Wood Castle Keep stands out among all the Nexuses as not only the best in green, but possibly the best Nexus in the game next to Netherworld Depths. The ruling on this card was updated to only affect spirits, however its level 2 ability is still a floodgate that shuts off all of your opponent's Wind Destroyed effects. This includes spirits like the Elementals, Emerald Man, Agilvale, and Newmangard. Shutting down your opponent's Newmangard can be the difference between winning and losing that game. It also has the benefit of becoming a prime target for Burning Force. Leaving your Netherworld Depths, maybe stay on the board. Its level 1 ability can also make any large spirit with the Soul Core block infinitely. Just having this card on the field changes the way your opponent must play the game. Thorn Prison, or Beam Rifle, has easily made the biggest impact out of all of the new Magic cards released in False Gods. Not just in green, but out of every color. This magic has become a new staple magic that goes in basically every single deck. The ability to exhaust 2 of your opponent's spirits has made both offense and defense so much more strategic. From aggro to control, everyone is playing this card, and if you aren't playing it, you need to be. You think that it might be the big boss unit like Queen Antrine or Herrick Dynas taking the top slot for green spirits, but no. It's good old worker Ant-Man. With 2 reduction and the ability to ramp on swing at level 2 with a Soul Core, this card fits perfectly into any deck. Everything about this card is overtuned for a 3-drop. Aggro loves it and Control loves to abuse it. Run this card if you aren't already. It's just that good. And that is our take on the best and worst cards coming out of False Gods. Do you agree? Or are we complete fools that totally missed the mark?
Help me.
Hey now. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you drop a like if you learned something and enjoyed the video.
They took all my money.
And subscribe to the channel to see more.
Please.
Have a great day, and we will see
They
you
locked me in the basement.
in the next video.